All right, so get this. Next week, Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene will force a vote to oust House Speaker Mike Johnson. Democratic leaders have said no, not so fast, saying this specifically. Upon completion of our national security work, the time has come to turn the page on this chapter of pro-Putin Republican obstruction. If she invokes this motion, it will not succeed.
Now we have Hakeem Jeffries and the Democrats coming out, embracing Mike Johnson with a warm hug and a big, wet, sloppy kiss, because Mike Johnson is giving them everything they want.
She an army of one. Joining us right now to discuss this is the Speaker himself, Speaker Mike Johnson. Mr. Speaker, I'm sure you've heard about this. I know you're too busy to focus on this, but how concerned are you for next week's antics?
I'm not concerned, Brian. I have to do my job. This is a difficult time to be the Speaker of the House. Everybody recognizes that. Newt Gingrich posted an op-ed earlier this week and said Johnson has the toughest speakership since the time of the Civil War. I'm not sure if he's right about that, but I do know it's a great challenge. We have the smallest majority in U.S. history. I have a one-vote margin. It is not helpful to our cause to advance conservative policy and principle to have any of the uprising in our own camp, and that's what this is. I don't think it goes anywhere. I'm not concerned about it. I have to do the job and do the right thing, and I have to move the ball forward. We try to do that every single day, incrementally, as best we can. When we only control, remember, 1/2 of 1/3 of the federal government. That's our challenge.
Are you glad? Is it an honor for Democrats to back you? Are you glad that they're going to back you and prevent it from resulting in a Kevin McCarthy situation?
Look, I haven't asked anyone to do that. There's no exchange of anything here. They're doing that spontaneously. I think there are people of good faith in both parties who want the Congress to be functioning. Remember the last time the chair was vacated when it happened to Kevin McCarthy, we shut the Congress down for 3 weeks. I mean, imagine how dangerous that would be right now in the midst of hot wars around the world and all this, insurrection on campuses and all the rest that's going on. We have to have a functioning Congress, and I think people see that, and they don't want the chaos to ensue.
I've been doing this a long time, and we've seen some crazy things from 9/11 to the collapse of the economy in 2008. I'm never going to forget a week like this. And this week when we saw this college chaos, and then finally the vilified men and women in blue asked to go in and bring order to disorder at Columbia, at UCLA, and around the country. And you're looking at a bunch of different things. You're also looking at who is funding all this, as well as why are we giving big money to these colleges to spout this anti-American, anti-Semitic behavior? And I'm looking at some of this funding. Are people aware that Columbia gets $1.2 billion, University of Pennsylvania, $955 million, Yale, $776 million, and we're seeing the rest, Cornell, Harvard, NYU, we're seeing the rest now? Can you put that money in jeopardy? Can you put that in another account until we see some change in the curriculum and approach?
Yeah, exactly. These are really important questions, Brian, and Congress has a very important responsibility here. We have the responsibility of oversight, but we also have the power of the purse, right? It's the federal funding streams that go to these universities. It's billions of dollars just to the Ivy League alone. They do not deserve taxpayer funds to support their institutions if they cannot uphold the basic constitutional rights and freedoms and civil rights of their students, maintain their safety. I mean, it's a very basic responsibility that they failed. These university administrators have allowed this chaos. They have allowed the violence and all the things that we've seen, and we need accountability. So we announced this past week, I announced that we will be doing this in the House of Representatives. We have all the committees of jurisdiction who are now working on this in a united effort. We'll be looking at their funding streams through federal funding for research and development grants and all the various streams of funding they receive. We're looking at the student visas that are allowed for these foreign students. If they're terrorist sympathizers who are preying upon their fellow students, they don't need to be here. You don't have a right to do that. We're looking at the very generous tax benefits and tax status that some of these universities enjoy. I think it's time for accountability, and I'm hopeful that the White House will step forward and allow us and help in ensuring accountability of these institutions. This is out of control, and their action is way overdue.
It is, but it didn't stop you from going uptown and dealing with the barbs and the anger amongst the students and the activists. You talked to also the Columbia president. What did you pick up from the one-on-one, seeing with your own eyes as opposed to getting reports from your own people.
Well, that's an important thing. I mean, that's what I'm asking, demanding that the president himself go and visit some of these campuses. We don't just need rhetoric from the White House. We need action. But when we went to Columbia to face that angry crowd, you know, it was an irrational thing. I mean, there was outrage. I think half the crowd doesn't even know what they're chanting or understand the basis for some of this stuff. We sat down with President Shafik in her own conference room, and I looked her in the eye across the table, and I said, "You have to get control of this madness." Now, remember, Brian, that was almost exactly a week before the NYPD had to go in and do their job. She was not allowing police on campus for that long. She wanted to negotiate with them. You don't negotiate with would-be terrorists and terrorist sympathizers. You get control. And I think they allowed it to fester for too long, and I think that's why there's so much property damage and violence and all these other things that are happening.
And sadly, Brown has made a deal. They promised to put it to a vote. Northwestern has said we're going to look at some of our investment in Israel and Israel's investments in our institution. You can't give way to this demand. If you're a student and you choose Brown and you don't like where they're investing, choose another school. Somehow the world's got turned on its head. And I just think the White House has been MIA. Real quick, do you have Democratic allies in the House and Senate to put some teeth behind this request to reduce funding and kick out foreign students that protest?
Well, I think we do. One of our colleagues, Josh Gottheimer, is a very principled guy, Democrat, who was on Fox News this week suggesting as much. I think there's a number of people who've spoken out on this, and I'm glad that they have. But we're calling on everybody in any position of authority to speak right now. This is a moment for moral clarity. This is a fateful moment for our country. We don't need anybody shrinking back or playing politics with this. We need a united voice to say this is wrong, and we're going to stand for the good.
All right, you have not had one easy day since you took this job that you never wanted to begin with, but he's hanging in there. Speaker Johnson, thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.